The point Neil was making here was, why would man God fried Jesus do this and look so stupid towards his followers? In other words, the last person that Jesus would want to hurt would be his followers while they're in church pretending a man named Jesus is God. That would be odder than any odd. But what's funny is 1755, that's double 57s. That's the biggest what goes around comes around tease king. And so I wonder, after all this, Neil said, but now we know the real God with scientific evidence. So look at God's sense of humor. Look at the real God's sense of humor, what the real God did to the uglies and the smugglies and the fuglies.
1700s, the city of Lisbon, Portugal. 1755, I think was the year. So I'm off by like 3 years. Lisbon, Portugal, one of the holiest cities in all of Europe.
The three were going to be free in Lisbon, Portugal.
A Catholic city. All Saints Day, one of the holier days.
Saints.
In the Christian calendar, back then especially. Everyone was in church, worshiping. That morning, there was an earthquake. And that earthquake, what buildings are most susceptible to earthquakes? The tallest, biggest buildings, and this is 1755, one of the tallest, biggest buildings in Lisbon, the churches. So, that morning, 80,000 people died in their churches from the collapse of the domes, the walls, and what followed the earthquake? Guess what? A tsunami followed the earthquake, basically wiping the city of Lisbon clean. Okay? That was the beginning of what we today think of as the modern atheist movement. Because at the time, people said, if God is all loving, how could he have possibly done this? God presumably controlling the forces of nature. We're not talking about man's inhumanity of man here, which would be the consequence of free will. We're talking about nature. And so people at the time, led by people such as Voltaire, asked the question, if there is a God, and we had this tsunami that killed 80,000 people and wiped out a holy city on a holy day, collapsing churches onto people's heads.
See, the real God did it because with this pre-prediction, and that's the 8 more than the top rate faith without debate to tease the hates. Hello, how are you, Justin Bieber, Madonna, Gwen Stefani, me, and Ruskell Evelison? How are all yous, God almighty haters? You're so funny. That's how we know you are. You're funny. You're so funny. And none of you sunny. In the one and only smart. In the one and only heart.